Welcome back to the paper, episode 7, part 2. Last time we got a little carried away in the finance section, mainly me, but today we're going to be releasing the other two sections, which is entrepreneurship and personal health, personal wellness. So with that, I'm just going to pass it off to Will for his section.
This week I got Maverick Carter, friend of LeBron, businessman, helps LeBron with his business, and they've created a lot together. He's from North Akron, Ohio. He played basketball at Western Michigan before transferring back to Akron. In high school, both him and LeBron played basketball and football together at St. Mary's High School. When they got business started, he started at Nike as a field representative and has been the business manager for LeBron ever since 2006 and has helped LeBron secure his lifetime Nike deal for over $1 billion.
That's dope. So he's been friends with LeBron since high school?
Yeah.
Nice.
So does he only cover like his sports businesses? Because I know he like has a stake in Blaze Pizza and he does a couple other things. Does he work on that stuff too, or is he mainly just the sports stuff?
He does more of the entertainment side.
Okay.
For LeBron, because they have two other partners as well, Rich Paul and Randy Mims. So all four of them have their own section, venture called LRMR Ventures. That was founded in 2006 to create partnerships and help marketing and creating innovation. He's their CEO.
Hey, so LeBron was only in the league for 3 years then before that was formed.
Yeah.
So you don't really see that with guys until, I mean, obviously LeBron's like a one-of-a-kind player, but you don't really see that with guys until they're kind of established in the league. Like big-time stars, I guess. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So Rich Paul is his agent, right?
Yep, they have their own agency now.
Oh, nice. Is it Clutch Sports?
Yep. Represents Miles Bridges.
Yep. I was just about to say that Miles Bridges is signed there. They have a lot of talent.
Yeah, I think AD's there too.
Yeah. I think
get the trade.
I think Trey Young is on Clutch Sports now.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
think so. They got a lot of talent nowadays.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for them.
Yeah. All right, so Maverick Carter, he's the CEO of the LRMR Ventures. He has a main focus of getting his first client, which was LeBron, and he wanted to get LeBron's international fame to the levels of Muhammad Ali. That was their focus, I guess. Or that's who they based his career off of, sort of. And then through the LRMR, they helped LeBron get a percentage ownership of the Liverpool FC to help LeBron's international profile.
That's a soccer club, isn't it?
Yeah, they just won the Premier League this year.
Nice.
So LeBron's the champion again.
All he knows is win.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, the LRMR is just now a holding company for their other businesses. Sort of like Warren Buffett with Berkshire.
Oh, nice.
And then they moved on to Spring Hill Entertainment, where Mr. Carter is also the CEO there. And that is a production company that partners with entertainment networks and studios. And some of those companies are Netflix, Warner Bros., NBC. They produced The Carter Effect about Vince Carter, one of the GOATs, just retired.
Oh, yeah.
They have upcoming films like Space Jam. And then they have Spring Hill also helps existing entertainment companies expand. They have a quote from their website, and it says they pride themselves on incubating, developing, and producing work that speaks to a cross-culture audience. So they're really trying to be inclusive.
For
What
sure.
I take from that.
So
So
does he work
it's-
does he work with any other like players or anything on their businesses, or is he strictly LeBron?
It seems to be strictly LeBron,
Okay.
but I'm sure what he does, like AD's also in Space Jam, so that kind of
Right. Just like if LeBron's working with them, he works with them.
Most
Same
likely,
deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Live Nation, the ticketing and concert promoting website, he's a director there. And they said they sell 500 million tickets a year to over 40,000 shows.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So it seems like to me that this Maverick Carter is a serial entrepreneur. Like he has like many different kind of ventures with LeBron. Like
Yeah.
as a business partner. Like he has a lot of different things that he works on with him.
Yeah, the Live Nation, I think's the only one that's not where he doesn't run it,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't like create it.
Yeah. I've heard of like Live Nation and what that is.
Yeah. And then just at the start of this pandemic, Carter and James created Spring Hill Co., which is a media company that creates content and gives voices to creators and consumers. They just raised $100 million. This move consolidated the three companies of the robot company, which was a marketing agency. They worked with Beats, JP Morgan, and Uber. And then the previously mentioned Spring Hill Entertainment, which has 19 productions completed or in the works. And then Uninterrupted LLC, the production and marketing business. It has over 250 athletes that have content on the services.
Mm.
All those companies have Maverick Carter as their CEO.
So the uninterrupted, that's just sort of like that would be like a Netflix type of deal. Like just
Yeah.
where they stream content.
Yep. I believe that's where they have, I think it's called The Shop.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
They produced that.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I think like Draymond Green was on that once or twice. And then Drake was on it a couple times.
Yeah.
AD, obviously, LeBron. Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining show.
Yeah, they had Travis Scott on there too. Like it seems like they
shit.
have a bunch of different like people in the culture, like from different like hip hop people,
Mm-hmm.
and then just like some people that I'm sure they just know.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Drake. Yeah, it's a pretty cool show. I've never really tuned into an episode, but I've seen snippets like of the content.
Yeah. Same.
All right. So this next thing is going to be the major impacts of Maverick Carter. It's kind of simple. This one, it's without Maverick Carter, LeBron James may not have been as well known in the business world and have as many projects going on.
Definitely not, I would say.
Yeah, and I would have said he won't probably have gotten that lifetime billion-dollar deal with Nike.
Yeah.
As soon as he did, at least. Since Maverick Carter basically had an in there already.
Mm-hmm.
And Maverick has just helped run LeBron James's empire, and that was always his plan since high school.
So that's kind of interesting that he kind of found a way to still be connected to the sports world and like without being a player necessarily, you know what I mean? So like for LeBron, obviously he plays NBA basketball and that's how he stays connected to basketball. But for Maverick Carter, his talents obviously weren't the same level as LeBron's, or even like necessarily good enough to play professionally. But it seems like he kind of worked around that and still stayed connected to the basketball world. So kind of interesting,
Yeah.
kind of cool that he did that.
And he got to work with all his friends along the way, the four of them all
Yeah.
together, creating a whole empire.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool too of LeBron is like his main like business partners are people that he grew up with, or
Yeah.
like people that he met like from, just kind of growing up in like a young NBA player. Because like you said, all this kind of started like 3 years after he first got in the league, and when he got in the league, he was like 18.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's
So
cool to
he's
see
very,
that like his agent is somebody who he met, when he was younger, and is somebody he still does like great business deals with, just like Maverick Carter.
Yep. And lastly, it's just going to be a quote from him. We're always focused on how do you build long-term value.
That's a good quote. You got to be thinking about the long game,
Yeah.
especially with somebody like LeBron, because like at the end of the day, like basketball doesn't all like you can't play basketball till you're like 60. So
Yeah.
to be able to position yourself, with all these other ventures and stuff that will, hopefully be something that he can pass on for generations. It's, that long-term view, that long-term vision. And especially on this show, when we talk about investing and stuff, and we're always kind of talking about the long-term side of things, I think that's a great quote from him.
Yeah, and it doesn't just matter with basketball. It's kind of like all sports because who knows how long
True.
you're going to be in. I know for like all sports, it's like 7 to 3 years is your maximum time or the average amount of time a player spends.
Yeah, probably on average.
Yeah.
There are people like Vince Carter who stick around for multiple decades, though.
Yeah. Those are
great.
more rare, though. Kind of outliers. All right, so that is going to wrap up the entrepreneurship section. It's all UTC.
Word. So on today's segment of personal wellness, we will be discussing proteins. The last few episodes I've talked about mental health and the importance of that to your personal wellness. And today I want to kind of touch on some nutrition things that I've learned. And I learned a lot of this stuff kind of through a nutrition class, human nutrition class I took, and then obviously Googling and my own research. So let's hop right into it. Proteins, for those that are unfamiliar on what a protein is a macronutrient. It's essential to building muscle mass. Chemically, a protein is composed of amino acids, and those are just organic compounds.
So TC, what are the other macronutrients? There's a couple different, like carbs, right? Proteins. Fats.
Carbs, fats. What are the other ones?
Basically, like all the things listed on a label.
Carbohydrates, fats, dietary fiber, minerals, proteins, vitamins, and water are the 7 major classes of macronutrients.
Gotcha. Okay, so a couple in there I wasn't too familiar with, like the fiber and the.
For sure, yeah, and that's something I want to start researching a lot more, is just the macros and understanding exactly what it is like is a good diet per se for your body, and making sure you have a well balanced one. But when protein's broken down in the body, it helps to fuel muscle mass. So you'll hear about people who are avid weightlifters talking about how they need high protein and they drink a lot of protein shakes and stuff like that. And so that's why, is because it helps to build muscle mass, and it helps to rebuild your muscles as well. So some primary sources of protein are eggs, chicken, and beef. They're kind of the most common in the American diet. We eat a lot of poultry and animal products, and those are going to be like the main sources, because in chicken, 1 cup of chicken contains 38 grams of protein. And for protein, your daily intake that you want to target is, I believe they say, excuse me, it's like 0.36 or yeah, 0.36 grams per your body, like per pound that you weigh. So say you weigh 200, you want to target like 72 grams per day of protein, which could be quite a bit, depending on the type of food you eat. But like I said, 1 cup of diced chicken, which is a decent portion, contains 38 grams, but obviously it'd be throughout the whole day. You can spread
Right.
out throughout 3 meals, get to that target. And also it kind of depends on like your goals. If you're not really an avid, you're not trying to really build muscle mass or anything like that, then, I don't really track my stuff. That's why I said I'm trying to get back into really studying that stuff more, so that way I can sculpt my own diet and really be more cognizant of that. Right now, I just kind of eat whatever, but
Have you
there's a lot of
tracked?
people who does. What's up?
Have you tracked it before?
I done it for a project I had in human nutrition, but
Okay.
other than that, I've made like meal prep and actually figured out what I want to eat. That's kind of more on the healthy side, but I haven't really committed to it too deeply to where I'm counting grams of this and that. But it'd be cool to kind of experiment with that and kind of combine that with a nice workout plan to kind of see the best results from that. So that's something I can probably go over more in depth on, like maybe another episode, and I can talk about it as I'm doing it and just kind of give feedback on it. But so I'm
I
gonna
think
go.
for people listening too, like you don't necessarily have to go super deep into the weeds with it. You can kind of just see what works for you. I mean, we always say that, and it's kind of because it's always true, but you just kind of want to do what you feel comfortable with, and then just work up from there, or just kind of hang out in that level of detail.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, they say that the average you want to target is like 56 grams per day. I was a little bit off from what I just said. So like 0.36 grams per pounder, like Kosa was saying, whatever kind of floats your boat. Just making sure that just being cognizant of what you're eating. Don't just eat straight chips and Eggo waffles and Pop Tarts and stuff like that. That's kind of just my premise on covering stuff like that, is just to introduce people that haven't been introduced to eating healthy, and even like the nutrition information that's out there. So other than eggs, chicken, and beef, and the animal products that you'll find are the most common sources of protein, there's also some alternative sources, such as various like vegetables and whatnot. So broccoli is one of them. It contains 5 grams of protein per cup, which doesn't seem like a lot, but like I said, throughout the day, when you kind of just add things up, like say you have a cup or so of broccoli with your lunch, and then you also have like a cup of chicken, that's already like 40 something grams of protein. And that's like from one meal, not to mention you didn't eat dinner or have a snack or anything like that.
Dang, broccoli! I never knew that before.
Yeah.
That broccoli is like a good source of protein. That's interesting.
Yeah. And when I was, I had stopped eating like chicken and beef for a little second. So I was looking for ways to get my protein, and it really did come from eating like a lot of green vegetables. Spinach is also one that contains a decent amount of grams of protein. And also another great source for people that are out there that don't eat animal products. Another strong source of protein is beans, such as like chickpeas, which could also be called garbanzo beans, black beans, kidney beans, great white northern beans. All those type of beans are going to be a great source of protein for and like I said, you can also you can supplement it with other sources of protein, such as like say you have like chicken, black beans, and some broccoli for lunch or dinner or whatever. That's a protein packed meal right there for you. So if you are somebody who's working out a lot, you could after a nice workout session, go and grab you a protein packed meal, rebuild those muscles that you were ripping up during your workout, and see some gains.
So have you I don't know if you like kind of know this already as just background knowledge, or if you kind of looked into this at all, but is there like a specific time of the day that's like best for consuming majority of your protein, or is it kind of just a thing you can do throughout the day?
I've heard that eating protein a little bit prior and after like a workout or something, but more so just like in the middle of the day. You want to have like a meal that's packed so it gives like your body has time to kind of absorb it throughout the day, or like I said, after if you've just worked out or something like that, you want to have a nice protein packed meal afterwards, just because of and I'll cover that in a little second, about like kind of how the protein acts. It builds blocks of bone, muscles, cartilage, and skin, stuff like that from the protein. So you're thinking that like after a workout, you're gonna want to build back those muscles. Right. So I'd say probably like lunch is a good time to have. Like I said, you don't really have to get it all in one meal. You have a nice sized meal at lunchtime, and that can be like where you get like the majority of your protein intake, and then like you can have like the rest for dinner or a snack or something like that later throughout the day.
Gotcha.
I do know there's like a 30-minute time period where your body, after working out, where your body goes into like a stage. I forget what the stage is called, but that's the best time for getting.
Yeah, I've heard something similar to that too.
Yeah.
So just trying to get it back.
Yeah, regenerate.
Into your body. Yeah, kind of as soon as possible, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like one of the main benefits of protein is to build and repair tissues. So when you're lifting, like when you're, especially if you're using like heavy weights and stuff like that, you technically are like your muscles are like slightly tearing or ripping. Yeah. I've heard. So you're going to want the proteins to get in there and kind of build the tissues back up. And I think that's just the process of building that muscle mass. I think that's why it's such an effective thing for people that are trying to bulk up and create that muscle mass. So yeah, going to go over a few points on why it's important, why you should have, a good serving of protein on a daily basis. Like we covered at the beginning, it's a macronutrient, so you're going to want to get those. We named them at the beginning, the 7 major ones: carbohydrates, fats, and I'll probably cover these on another episode. Carbs, fats, dietary fiber, minerals, proteins, vitamins, and water. So that's why it's important, is to make sure you have a well-balanced diet. And for one, like I mentioned before, protein is an important building block of bones, muscles, cartilage, and skin. And a fun fact is that hair and nails are comprised mostly of protein, which I really didn't know before. So learn something new every day. Also, like I said, they help repair. Your body uses it to build and repair tissue. They help oxygenate. Red blood cells contain a protein compound that carries oxygen throughout the body. This helps supply your entire body with the nutrients it needs, which is another great benefit. Half of the dietary protein that you consume each day goes into making enzymes, which aids in digesting food and making new cells and body chemicals. And then another important fact on protein is that it plays an important role in hormone regulation, especially during the transformation and development of cells during puberty.
Interesting.
Fun fact, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that would be like, if we're talking, we already kind of talked like what time of day, but I guess like what time in your life is most important, I guess would be like in your teenage years.
Yeah.
Kind of getting into your 20s then.
Did you guys notice that you wanted like more meat, like you ate more or anything like around those years?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that-
especially with like sports and everything too.
Yeah.
I was hungry all the fucking time. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that might have been why. It's because it's just naturally built like that. It's for your body to crave the protein during that time.
Definitely.
Maybe. But yeah, like I said, this stuff is pretty interesting to me to go and dive in and learn about, because I personally believe health is wealth. So if you take care of your body and you take care of the nutrition that you're feeding your body, then it really has a lot of cognitive benefits. And we've talked about that in previous episodes about how it's kind of all connected, how your mental health can be impacted by the things that you're eating. And if you're on point with your diet, making sure you're getting, all your macronutrients and you're eating a well-balanced diet, then you'll definitely feel the effects and you'll feel the benefits, and you'll, feel like you have like another level of power. Because before, when I was kind of more health conscious about what I was eating and I was making sure I was getting, the right stuff in my body, I could feel it, in my mental clarity. Like it was on another level. So I think this is important information, and I'm going to continue to, do more research and bring that information to my section of the podcast and really just educate for real.
Definitely. I would agree.
Facts. So that's been another episode. This one's a rather short one, completing the one that we started last week, or at the earlier part of the week. Hope you guys were able to gain some value. Went over Maverick Carter, the business mogul, got the protein information to you guys. So hopefully you were able to level up your understanding on a few things, and go ahead and play this, share it with a friend, tell them all about the proteins, everything. But
yeah, and then follow us on social medias. Those will be in the description. And then also, I know, TC, you've been trying to make a little bit more of effort to post some infographics on your page. So you've been experimenting with those a little bit. So those have been, at least for the last episode, the ETF episode, there was a nice infographic that you put up just about talking about ETFs, summarizing things. So if you guys kind of want the quick and dirty version of the podcast, you can always watch out for those. Obviously, we want you to listen to the podcast too, but you can those are much easier to share, I think. So go follow TC for those.
Yeah, and I definitely do plan on releasing more content like that, because like you said, it's like short and sweet. It kind of summarizes the podcast. We get into, the ins and outs, the more intricate things of it. But I like making the infographics because it simplifies things. And that's the best way I understand things, is learning from Will. Was kind of just talking about how he has like a bunch of screenshots of infographics from a investing page that he follows. Yeah. And yeah, I definitely think those are a great learning tool. And so I like to keep creating those. And so, yeah, just be on the lookout of more content. Also, we're going to be providing a lot more dope content on our Instagram page for the podcast, our Facebook page for the podcast, and our YouTube page. So be on the lookout. Got some things brewing. We got some ideas building. So we're just going to keep our foot on the gas with this and be more consistent and really just, grind out and, level up the whole podcast thing and our own understanding on investing, entrepreneurship, and personal wellness, as well as your guys's. So appreciate the support to everybody who listens to us, everybody who's shared, anybody who's liked. We definitely appreciate it, especially at the infant stages of the podcast that we've started. It's only going to go up from here. So appreciate everybody that's with us at the start of the journey. And yeah, another great episode. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Check us out next week. Peace.